welcome. This is This is question 3 for F581 OCR AS economics video. Now this video is sort of starts with consumer surplus. So obviously that's a question we're going to start with. I'm not going to write down on the board for 3A because it just says define consumer surplus. It's only worth 2 marks, so there's no point writing it down when, as you can see, I've got kind of a limited space. That's why it's a bit zoomed in on the head. So first question says define consumer surplus. So first thing you need to say is consumer surplus is the difference between the price the consumer is willing to pay and the price the consumer is currently paying, i.e. the market price. So that's should be enough for your 2 marks. Just let me double check. Yeah. So that's your 2 marks. You need to state the market price for your 2nd mark, and the difference between the price they pay and the price they actually pay. That gets you the other mark in your state. So 1 mark is saying the difference, the other mark is saying the market price. Just the words market price to get a mark for that. Obviously you don't just write market price somewhere, you've got to logically put it in. Now this question is simply a drawing a diagram question. It's just saying, this is actually the only 2nd part of question 3B. It says using a diagram, so I'll draw it nice and big for you. I'm not going to label it perfectly. I'm just going to sort of cram it in on the side. So you've got price and quantity. Do this stupid thing. Quantity. DNS, and obviously you know that means demanded and supplied, but I'm quite lazy. Now it's talking about from the consumer surplus. Like it's a consumer, it's to do with demand. People sometimes get confused and think producer surplus, we draw a demand curve. Then we draw a supply curve for a producer because that's the firms producing it. Whereas consumer surplus is to do with demand because the consumers demand it. The firms don't demand the product, they supply it. So you've got your demand curve here. Sort of cut that off a little bit there. So you've got your D curve, and this, say we pick a price level, and it's asking us to show how consumer surplus changes with the rise in the price of flight. So we just need to identify. You don't need to write anything. So we've got P here, and we've got Q here. We'll pick a point. Say call this A, for example. First thing you need to know, when you're drawing the demand curve, I just didn't do that, make sure your demand curve is right up to your price line, because it wouldn't stop halfway through. People won't demand anything if it's stupidly high price, but it doesn't, there is a slight demand, then maybe 1 or 2 people demand it, but it still goes all the way up. There's someone willing to pay infinity price for it if they're really, really rich, depending on how much you want it. Obviously, so it says an increase in price. So, we'll call this D at the top, and we say before we draw another price line, we say original consumer surplus is the difference between the price line and the demand curve, and it's above the price line for this, so it's PDA. It's this section here. So I'll just put original consumer surplus. We put the bracket, and that's PDA or PAD, which it doesn't really matter what you label it as long as you specify the correct labels that you've drawn down and related it to the right diagram. Some teachers may go, well, you need to put exactly these letters, and the only reason they do that is because they don't trust the students to create their own letters because they think they'll mess it up. Obviously, I'm not going to mess this up, so I've done it myself. Stuff like teachers. Probably doing economics, but still an invest. So you say that's the original consumer surplus, and then you say the new consumer surplus. You say 3 things: new consumer surplus, old consumer surplus, and lost consumer surplus. So the new consumer surplus is, we'll call this point B. So we say new consumer is this part here above the price line. We've lost this bit, so it's P1BD. So P1 BD. So you can sort of relate that to these points, and that's B and that's a D. And it's therefore the lost consumer surplus just put surplus. So we say lost consumer surplus, and you can write this at the side of your diagram because it's only worth 4 marks, so you don't need to do an explanation. You should know that because if there's like a paragraph underneath where you can write, then you draw that. But it's only worth 4 marks, and there's no space for writing, so you usually don't expect you to write anything. You can always ask the examiner if you're not 100% sure. But, generally, if there's no lines there, it means you don't write anything. So P1 B8 is a stuff you've lost. So P1. So P1. That's your trapezium there that you've lost. So that's what you need to put there. So they're your sort of overall things there we need to learn. Hopefully that's giving you an insight into what you need to know for this exam. There's not much more I can say really, apart from just learn that diagram there for the consumer surplus. Maybe not the letters specifically if you're not comfortable on that. So that's question 2B, 3B, 2B. I think it's 2B. Let me just check. Yeah, 2B. So that's the end of question 2. The next part goes on to something completely different. Yeah. So yeah. Next part goes on to something else. So that's the end of question 3. Yeah, 3. Sorry, 3B. Mine's in a mess today. So we'll see you in the next video, and hopefully that's been some kind of help.